Hello! I don't do TBRs on this channel anymore, as you know, but I do occasionally do piles of possibility, and that's kind of what this is, although as the title says, it's a bit of a shop my shelves edition. We're coming up on the end of the year already, which is a little bit wild, but here we are. And so I do have some plans of things that I want to read before the end of the year, or you know, would like to try to get to before the end of the year. And I also want to just have a look at my shelves and see if there's anything in particular that I would like to get to before the year is out. So I thought that I would go through that with you. The first kind of major thing that I want to do is reread Shadows of Self and Bands of Mourning in preparation for the Lost Metal, which is coming out on the 15th of November. I will not be getting a physical copy of that book because all of my other copies, as you can tell, are paperbacks, so I don't want to put a hardback in there, so I'll wait to buy a physical copy until the paperbacks are out. But I will be downloading the audiobook straight away and then listening to it as soon as it comes out, and I want to remind myself of the pivotal plot points before I get there, so I want to reread these, and I will probably do that in the week running up to the release of Lost Metal. I'm not going to be rereading The Alloy of Law because I reread that last year. I did actually reread Shadows of Self last year as well, but I plan to reread that one anyway because, to be honest, Alloy of Law doesn't tie in as much as Shadows and Bands do, so I want to reread those two, and like I said, I'll do that the week before the Lost Metal comes out, which I'm very excited for. So that's going to be in a few weeks' time. The other thing that I am rereading at the moment is the Keeper of the Lost Cities series by Shannon Messenger, because the next book, so the ninth book, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, the 9th book is coming out on the 8th of November, but the audiobook isn't out until the 15th of November. So originally I had planned to read Keeper book 9 and then do my Mistborn Era 2 reread and then read Lost Metal, but the audiobook for Keeper 9 comes out on the same day, so I'm actually going to read that after I've read Lost Metal, and I am doing my reread of the Keeper series in the run-up to that. All that to say, I'm currently in my reread of book 7, which is Flashback, so then the only one I have left is book 8, which is Legacy? Yes, Legacy. I have them over there. And I may then also reread the short story that is in Unlocked if I get the time, but I have quite a bit of time to play with those two because, again, as long as I've read them by the week before Lost Metal comes out, then I'm up to date and I'm ready to go. And if I'm not, it's not the end of the world if I need to run over a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I will be. So I've got a little bit of space probably before Lost Metal to potentially fit in 1 or 2 things. And then of course I've got space afterwards before the end of the year. I will be doing my Goodreads Choice Awards reading challenge again this year, and I will get back to you on which categories I'm going to do for that. So I'm not going to get into any of that for right now, but I will be doing that, so that will take up a little bit of time, probably in December as well, because I think we get the list towards the end of November, so I should be able to start working on that towards the end of November, beginning of December, and maybe even potentially throughout December. It depends how long it takes me. So basically there's space for me to pick a few other things that I potentially would like to read this year. Some of them will probably be on the Goodreads Choice Awards as well anyway, so that will be handy. In particular, I suspect that Babel will show up in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I want to read this year anyway. I haven't read it yet because I feel like I want to be fully engaged when I read it, because I feel like it could be quite complex, and so far since it came out I haven't been in the best headspace to be reading this one just yet, so I haven't picked it up yet, but I do want to do so before the end of the year. I recently got the audiobook for When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill in an Audible sale, so there's a good chance that I will be tempted to pick this one up pretty soon. I also would quite like to continue with the, what is this series called? Does it have a name? The Winnowing Flame, yes. I would like to continue and probably hopefully finish the Winnowing Flame trilogy before the end of the year, because I read Ninth Reign this year, so it would feel kind of nice to finish out this trilogy in this year, and I do now have copies of The Bitter Twins and The Poison Song, so I would quite like to get to these if at all possible. Joanna and I would also like to finish the Live Ship Traders trilogy this year by buddy reading Ship of Destiny, which is the last one in the trilogy. This one is a chunky boy, but I would quite like to get to this one before the end of the year as well. And speaking of series that I want to get up to date on, I wouldn't mind getting up to date on the Bone Shard Emperor as well, although this isn't super priority because the third book isn't out yet, so I would probably end up having to reread it before the third book comes out, potentially, although it's out in spring, so maybe not. So this one is questionable, but definitely a maybe. I'm quite keen to read this queer fantasy romance, A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. I feel like this could be quite fun. This is actually an ARC copy that I got at the Atlas 6 event that I went to. I think that one was hosted by Waterstones and Illumicrate. So yeah, I would quite like to read that. I don't know if that's a first in a series or not. You'll notice that I am gravitating towards the adult section of my TBR. That's definitely where my headspace is at the moment, YA wise. I might pick up The Honeys by Ryan Lasala. This was one of my anticipated releases. The only reason I haven't got to it yet is because of this funk I'm in with YA, but this is more of a thrillery horror type thing, so maybe this one would be an option. And I probably really need to get on with continuing the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas as well. I got most of the rest of the books in this series for Christmas last year, so I should at least continue with them this year. I feel like the next one for me is Queen of Shadows. I've been a little bit like ambivalent about this series so far, but apparently it gets much better from here, so that is also something that I may consider picking up. I could be tempted to read The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber this year, but I doubt if I will get the audiobook through from the library, and jury's out on whether or not I want to get the audiobook for this one from Audible. We shall see. Again, it's not a massive priority, but I quite liked the first one. It was fun and easy to read, so potentially I'll want to read that one as well. I feel like that's quite a lot, so maybe I will actually leave this here now. I recently did a TBR bookshelf tour on my channel, so you can go and check that out if you want to see a little bit more in detail or what is on these shelves behind me. I will link it for you. But also, if there's anything in particular you think that I should prioritise for this year, maybe it's something that's come out this year that you think I would really enjoy that I haven't picked up yet, or maybe it's something from the backlist that you're like, Sophia, you really need to get to this book, come on, read it, you're gonna love it. Let me know down in the comments, but I think I'm going to leave this pile of possibility here for now. So that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks, bye.